This is not sustainable. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am alcoholic. Today, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. I shared yesterday about how I'm thankful that whenever I wake up, I don't have to drink no more. I don't have to do this no more, right? I think back to 4.5 years ago, man, I would wake up and I remember I'd get so angry at myself. Angry for one, because I can't believe I drank that much last night. I said I was going to stop. And then two, and really the bigger issue, I'd get so angry at myself because I was better than that. And yet I had allowed myself to become so physically dependent upon alcohol. I was better than that. It's not as if my self-esteem wasn't in the tank anyway. It was. But when I realized that I had allowed myself to become so physically dependent upon alcohol, well, hell, it just created a new bottom for that tank. It just dug that hole even deeper for myself. And coming into the rooms, and I've said this throughout the last several monologues, actually, anytime I've ever spoke about it, whenever I first came into the rooms of recovery, specifically for me, the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I didn't want this AA program. I didn't care about that. I didn't want to be part of the cool kids club and the fellowship and all that mayhem. I didn't care. That's not what I wanted. What I did want, and the only reason why I stepped foot into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, because I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to ask them questions. I wanted to have a sincere and authentic dialogue and conversation. I wanted to be able to figure out what it was they did to solve their drinking problem. Whether I agreed with their approach or not, whether I believed in their approach or not, I at least wanted to hear specifically what they did and ask them questions. I'd figure out, make my own choice, take all this intel, all this information I'd acquired from all these different people, and start figuring out what I think would work for me and what I think might not work for me. I wanted to make my own choices, but I couldn't do that without talking to people and gathering information. And so I remember, if you go all the way back to 2013 when I first came in the rooms, I remember thinking, if I just hang out with these people, I just keep talking to these people, I'll be sober. I'll be okay. I won't get drunk again, right? And that worked until it didn't work. Until by January 2018, I was back to drinking full time every single day. And finally, when I came back in the rooms in July of 2021, I remember thinking that same mindset. Hey, if I just keep hanging out with these people, I don't have to buy into this mahamba jamba pie in the sky, we are the world stuff. I didn't have to worry. If I at least just hung out with these people and kept talking to them, that'll keep me sober. And somewhere about 20 days, maybe 20, 25 days into my sobriety, I clearly remember thinking, this alone, this idea of me just going to meetings, not buying into the higher power and the steps and all that stuff, this idea of me just going to the meetings, that is not sustainable. How did I know? Well, hell, because I had the last 8 years of my life to prove, as evidence, to prove that it wasn't sustainable. Every time I'd start going to these AA meetings, sure, I'd get sober for a little bit, but they never kept me sober. And that's kind of the point I want to make today. You can go to meetings, you can go to the fellowship and hang out with people, and that's great. That may get you sober and keep you sober for a little bit, but it's not sustainable. At least for me, it was not sustainable for me. And it wasn't until I clearly remember coming to that conclusion that, this is not sustainable. And I remember saying, God, if you're listening to me, I'm going to need something a little bit more concrete. I'm going to need something with a little bit more fire, a little bit more passion, a little bit more excitement, because what I'm seeing right now, this alone is not sustainable. These people, they're nice people, great people. Okay, not taken away from that. But this approach that I'm trying to apply here, I know it's not going to work. I know it's just not, because again, I'd spent 8 years proving that it wouldn't work. And finally, I swear, I think my higher power answered my prayers, because it wasn't too long after that, man, he walked me into a room I wasn't planning on walking into, and that's where my life changed. Sure, you can hang out with these people and talk to these people just like I did, all you want. And that may get you sober, and hell, that may even keep you sober. I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I know this for me. It was not enough to keep me sober. It was not sustainable for me to stay sober by just hanging out in the rooms. I had to start learning and understanding what it was these people were really talking about, and finding that connection and establishing that connection with my higher power. And anyone who's read the big book, Bill Wilson clearly says that's the goal of the book, is to help you find and establish that connection with your higher power, because that, not the rooms, the higher power, my connection to my higher power is what? is keeping me sober today. So with that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.